New tonight on KGW News, where a first-of-its-kind local attempt to slow drivers down is already showing big results.
I just don't see much happening unless I put in speed bumps.
Plus, how new tech means a fresh look 16 years to the day after Kyron Horman vanished.
Every step forward is hope towards closure.
Then, what the VA secretary has to say about a KGW investigation into veterans who had their diagnosis denied.
There's been a little bit of a misnomer out there that I can just simply wave a pen and say it is presumptive.
The evidence is there already, and VA has it.
And later, the Portland Fire duo Tall and Small, that's stealing hearts and serving up smiles.
Giving it my all every single day, and I would just say Pancake has the same relentless energy.
Good evening. At first at 11, Sherwood police have issued more than 1,000 warnings to drivers just a week into setting up mobile speed cameras. We're glad you're with us tonight. I'm David Molko. The movable cameras in what appears to be a first for the Portland Metro are on a residential street in the east part of town where the speed limit is set to 25. Alma McCarty went to chat with authorities and neighbors.
More than 2 decades ago,
We moved here in 2000.
Southwest Oregon Street in Sherwood was quiet. Mary Kinsani Kramer says that's not the case anymore.
So it's not really very safe. And they thought by putting the circle in that was going to slow everybody down, but it really doesn't.
Enter the mobile speed safety cameras.
That's the goal of these, is to slow people down.
Set up at the intersection of Southwest Oregon and Lower Roy Street.
We're the first agency to have this within Washington County. And basically the Portland metro area, from what I understand.
Officer Paul Matson explains they'll snap a picture of drivers going 11 over or more. The speed limit here is 25.
As of right now, it's been just a little over a week since these cameras have been working, and we've had over 1,045 violations in just a little over a week.
Neighbors like Mary aren't surprised.
No, not at all.
And neither are police.
No.
It's part of the reason they chose this spot first.
This road is a road that historically has had a lot of speeding, because on that portion of Oregon Street, it's a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Tonquin is a 45-mile-an-hour zone. Up on Murdoch is also 35 as well. So to go from a 45-35 to a 25, people traditionally speed a little bit more.
For now, speeders will get a warning in the mail before the department starts issuing citations. Officer Matson says this doesn't replace officers enforcing traffic laws.
We are still trying to get people to slow down and all that kind of stuff. But this is just another tool in the toolbox that we have to keep our community safer.
After years on this street, including several advocating for other speed deterrents, when it comes to these cameras, Mary has her hopes and her doubts.
Well, I think the city will make a lot of money, but I don't think it's going to slow anybody down, really. I think you have to have speed bumps.
Sherwood police say warnings will be issued through June 22nd, with the start of citations the next day, June 23rd. Officers say since they're mobile, they'll eventually move these cameras to a school zone when school starts back in the fall. David?
Yeah, good reminder to everyone, slow down. Thanks, Alma. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. Salem police and the FBI thwarted what they call a school weapons threat today. Officers say a 16-year-old had been displaying concerning behavior by researching school shootings and how to manufacture guns. The teenager, a student at West Salem High, was not in class, authorities say. Instead, they found him in a shed at a home on McGilchrist Street Southeast. He was arrested and charged with manufacturing a firearm. Police say there is no ongoing threat to the school. Today marks 16 years since 7-year-old Kyron Horman vanished from his school in Northwest Portland. Now investigators hope new tech and a fresh look at the evidence could finally lead to some answers. That's because the case has been digitized with more than 5,300 pages scanned in for review. Those documents now being analyzed by a specialized FBI unit which will re-examine the entire investigation. We spoke with Kyron's father, Kane, earlier today.
We all have this image of this 7-year-old with glasses and this cute little face, and he's going to be 24 coming up in September. So not so little. Maybe may or may not have glasses on. He's going to look a lot different, like those age progressed photos that they've released. So yeah, it's really trying to make that mental shift to how old he would be now versus how old he was back then. So
The sheriff's office says it's also added more staff to the case. There is a $50,000 reward for any information that leads to finding Kyron. And a Southeast Portland restaurant is picking up the pieces after their taqueria caught fire Wednesday, closing it indefinitely. The owners of El Porvenir say they've been in business for 4 years, and in a matter of minutes on Wednesday, their only source of income was wiped out.
Yesterday we were in shock. We couldn't believe it, and I feel like this morning it was when it hit us.
It's hard for me seeing it like this in these conditions. It just breaks my heart. And
fire crews say the blaze was most likely caused by something like a discarded cigarette outside. The family says it plans to rebuild. Let's switch to a live look over the Vancouver waterfront, looking at the Columbia on this Thursday night, Friday Eve, as we like to say, because it looks like we're about to see a return to a little bit of wet weather over the next couple days. Celine Stevens is here. Though, Celine, it sounds like we're just talking showers.
David, exactly. Just showers, nothing too impactful, but yeah, definitely different than the 80s and 70s that we were seeing earlier this week. But right now, taking a live look at our Wells Fargo Tower sky camera, we're looking pretty good right now. 58 degrees is where we're sitting at the moment. Those winds coming out of the north at 7 miles per hour. But look at temperatures across our map at this hour. 58 in Troutdale, 57 in Aurora, low 50s in McMinnville. Pretty mild temperatures. I mean, this morning the lows were not that low. So again, it's been a really mild week. Along the coast right now, we're looking at 40s. But as we get into the next day or so, we're really going to see a shift. So tomorrow morning, expect clouds like what we saw today. However, it's going to be cooler, upper 40s. By noon, more clouds coming into our area as this low pressure system sets in, and we could see some scattered showers in the Portland area by tomorrow around 5 o'clock. That said, other areas definitely will be seeing more rainfall tomorrow. The coast, southwest Washington, even the mountains Friday, expect to see that rainfall. Portland for sure, we'll see more of those showers on Saturday. I'll have more in your full forecast in a bit.
All right, a bit of a change. Thanks, Celine.
The ordinance passes with 7 ayes and 5 no.
After weeks of debate, Portland City Council has banned restaurants and businesses from selling foie gras. Councilor Steve Novick siding with the Progressive Caucus known as Peacock, while Councilors Pearl Guinea, Ryan Clark Smith, and Zimmerman all voted no.
I don't give a damn about foie gras. I don't. I really don't. But I do, without cursing, give a darn about the role in which government plays.
All right, foie gras is made from the enlarged liver of a duck or goose, often by force-feeding the animal. Starting December 1st, restaurants or businesses caught selling it will get a warning, followed by fines up to $5,000. Le Pigeon on East Burnside, which opposed this move, says it was disappointing, saying this was an opportunity for council to show its support for the restaurant industry as a whole. Now to a follow-up to a KGW investigation into military veterans with a rare disease who are being denied benefits they say they have earned, because for the first time we're hearing from the VA secretary in response to our reporting and nationwide documentary Diagnosis Denied, spotlighting the issue. Investigative reporter Kyle Boshi has the update.
For years, Greg and Lori Rathburn have felt alone in their struggle. Greg fighting a rare incurable muscle disease. Lori battling on his behalf, trying to get benefits from the VA.
We gave up. There's an emotional part that goes along with all of this, and you can only put so much effort into so many things.
But the Southern Oregon couple discovered there's an entire community facing similar challenges. Our investigative documentary, Diagnosis Denied, found veterans across the country diagnosed with inclusion body myositis, or IBM, who'd been denied disability benefits by the VA. These veterans and their families believe there's a link between military service and IBM. Greg spent years around toxic chemicals as an avionics technician in the Air Force and Air National Guard. Chemicals nobody warned him about.
But, there was no training as far as the realization that these things can hurt you. Just wasn't talked about.
For some conditions and certain disabilities, the VA automatically presumes military service is to blame and grants benefits without a fight. ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is one of them. IBM isn't on that list. Not yet.
There's been a little bit of a misnomer out there that I can just simply wave a pen and say it is presumptive.
VA Secretary Doug Collins explains there's a process. A panel of scientists is now examining the link between IBM and military service, with results expected by late summer of next year, if not sooner.
We just need to make sure that we're continuing to get the evidence, continuing to follow up on what our veterans are telling us, and that will show us the clear path to what we need to do.
Advocates believe the number of veterans diagnosed with IBM may be anywhere from 6 to 19 times higher than the general population.
The evidence is there already, and VA has it.
Ursula McCabe is an attorney representing veterans, including Greg Rathburn.
If VA simply recognizes the disease, finds ways to get it rated and evaluated correctly, and looks seriously at adding as a presumptive just like ALS, we don't have to wait any longer. It's a simple policy fix.
The VA secretary made no promises, but for veterans who felt so alone in their struggle, there is hope.
As we look forward, I think there will be an outcome that can be helpful to our veterans.
For the first time, these veterans feel heard, fighting a disease the VA still refuses to recognize. Kyle
Boshi there. We should note that Kyle's reporting sparked a review of Greg Rathburn's case, with the VA reversing itself and Rathburn finally getting the benefits he fought for. There are a lot more like him out there. If you'd like to see our full documentary, Diagnosis Denied, you can watch it anytime on our free TV streaming app, KGW+.